Oh, it got hot today. President Trump taking aim at big tech and their alleged bias against conservatives. The president first took to Twitter, singling out Google for what he called rigged news search results against him. He even went further this afternoon.
I think Google is really taking advantage of a lot of people, and I think that's a very serious thing, and it's a very serious charge. I think what Google and what others are doing, if you look at what's going on at Twitter, if you look at what's going on in Facebook, they better be careful, because you can't do that to people.
Joining me now with a reaction, former Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski and Jason Nichols, a Democratic strategist. All right, Jason, let's start with you. What about the president's thoughts here? A lot of conservatives, that I talk to think, well, wait a second, my impressions on Twitter are way down with no real clue as to why. Search results seem to kind of speak for themselves. When you put in Trump and news, it's all negative. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think, first of all, when we look at the search results on Google, just like when you do a Google Scholar search, what you get are the sources that receive the most citations, the ones that are cited the most, the ones that actually have the most news bureaus. So this has nothing to do with politics. If he wants better stories, then create better news is what he needs to do.
Like consumer confidence at an 18-year high.
Well,
that's not good news,
2,500 kids being traumatized by being separated, being accused in court of, under oath of committing a crime. There are a lot of things that he's done that actually show that he doesn't have a whole lot of good news to talk about. So I think
Jason, the fact that 41% of Americans now say the country's going in the right direction. The last year of Obama, do you know where that number was? 20 to mid-20s.
Okay.
The country sees things going in the right direction. They might not like everything Trump tweets, but I'm saying, and I want Corey to get in on this, because it is true that when conservatives say bias, 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 Dorsey and Sergey Brin, all these guys will come out and say, no, this is just the way the searches go. This is the way the technology rolls. Sometimes conservatives will get the short end of the stick, but sometimes liberals will too. Everybody complains all the time. That's where we need to be. That's what they will say.
Yeah, but look, Eric Schmidt was a supporter of the Clinton campaign, and that's perfectly fine for him to be able to do that. No one is questioning that.
Doesn't mean he's biased,
It doesn't mean he's biased. But look, Dorsey has said that the company tends to be more left-leaning than conservative, and again, that's the way he wants to run his company. But what we have at Google specifically is, they fired one of their engineers, and he said they did that because they were mistreating individuals who were conservatives there, and that's what he was fired for. Now he's suing Google for his job back because
Dillon's client,
and so the reason is, look, you can run a company any way you want to, but it is such a monopoly. Between Google and Facebook, it reaches 1.8 billion people on a daily basis. These are massive numbers, and I'm not in favor of government overzealous regulation, but you can't have a company that is going after people based on their conservative thought and shadow banning them or banning them in an unfair manner. And we have to look at this because it is a problem that's only going to grow.
NRA spokeswoman Dana Lash spoke about what happened to her on Twitter. Let's watch.
We have to deal with situations where you have crazy people running amok on Twitter and Twitter having inconsistent applications of terms of service. And that's what this comes down to. I'm simply asking for people like Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg and these individuals who own these platforms to maybe rein in their employees' biases and evenly and consistently apply and enforce terms of service.
And the thing that got her, really upset is a tweet that's since been deleted about, if Dana Lash has to have her children murdered before she'll understand, I guess that's what needs to happen. And the individual, Milan Legius, whatever his name is, has not been permanently banned from Twitter. I guess he was temporarily banned. I mean, that's the kind of stuff. That's not political speech. That's terrifying, actually.
No, I agree. And as someone who comes on conservative media and gets death threats often.
And we love you coming.
Thank you. And
I adore you.
And I'll tell
maybe
you
even
right
more
now,
than Corey.
Those people who are sending me threats right now, I want them to know I'm certainly not afraid of you and I'm not backing down. But I will tell you that I absolutely deplore that. I think that she has an argument in terms of trying to get those people to be banned from those platforms. I think that Twitter, is a large universe, and there are some things that Twitter sometimes misses. But there's the idea that they are targeting conservatives, and I think what Corey said, while it may have some validity that this person has a claim, it has nothing to do with the algorithm in which Google works. That's not what this is about. This is one guy feeling that he was discriminated against at work.
You know, Laura, when you look at Twitter and you look at what they did to Candace Owen, right? And she took a tweet that was written actually originally by the op-ed writer of the New York Times, and she changed one word in that tweet. And all of a sudden, her account was suspended. Not for doing anything other than literally changing one word. She changed the word from white to black. And it was against a conservative African-American woman who was literally reposting something that had already been posted. Now, the original post was never considered derogatory or exculpatory or anything else for that person. But as soon as Candace Owen put that out, she immediately was notified by Twitter that her account had been suspended. I don't think that's right.
Do liberals complain about getting banned from
I've never
Twitter?
seen one get banned. I've never seen a
I always like to say, if the shoe were on the other foot, I try to do it to myself too, but if the shoe were on the other foot and it was a company this big and this powerful run by the Koch brothers or some other conservative group of people, and the left felt like their views were not, I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. Would they say, "Oh, this is just an algorithm"? I hear that algorithm thing all the time. It doesn't seem to. It doesn't seem to give me much comfort. Close it out, Jim.
No, I think that people on the left absolutely get banned from some of these platforms.
Didn't they claim it was the most horrible, hateful thing said about Ivanka Trump? I didn't see a lot of things banned. Was it Chelsea Handler? It might not be her, but some one of these. They're all the same person to me. They all
and I think there's a difference between saying something vulgar and saying something that is threatening.
Yep.
I thought what said about Dana Loesch, that was a borderline threat, and I think that she has every right to complain about that. But what we've seen, and I'm telling you, as someone who gets a lot of threats, probably getting them right now, I think that that's despicable. But I think that it needs to be applied on both sides, and I think it usually does.
Yeah, great conversation, guys, and an immigration controversy.